morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to go full screen now. Hope you can see my screen. But yeah, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. And Brandon, like he mentioned, we've gone live recently with a few customers as well. So it's some great stories to share from that with discussions we may have in the future. Today, I'm going to talk about top BI trends, top 5 trends or data trends, as we always try to segregate data and BI in our world in 2021. And we'll walk through a very short demo as well afterwards to give you a feel for the product. Okay. So with respect to data and BI, the first thing that we're going to see, or already we are seeing a lot of, and it is only going to become more and more, is automation, and specifically automation around AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, as you're probably seeing it, AI is coming in pretty much every application, every software application you see in today's market. In our world specifically, which is data management and analytics, it works on the data side of data quality, data matching. So things like, fixing inconsistencies in data, recommending groupings of data, how to enrich data when you connect with different records, how to merge data, how to match records if it's from different sources of information. Say there's a Syspro and you want to connect the information with a CRM system you have in the business. How does data match based on a customer ID or an order ID if it's a e-commerce site along with, or retail site along with Syspro on the back end? So how do you merge all that data? So we are going to see some great trends around AI around this, which will automate a lot of this stuff and avoid the manual intervention, and of course make it less error prone. If when AI works, it does work brilliantly. The second one, which we are already seeing again, and this is probably with the proliferation of businesses realizing that, yes, you need some core systems like a Syspro in the business, a core ERP in the system, specifically for manufacturing, retail, wholesale distribution type businesses. But that there are always other systems in the business where sometimes it is best to use best of breed systems like an HR system or a payroll system or an e-commerce system. But what this means is data starts proliferating in different systems, different applications, and integrating that is a massive, massive challenge. So trends around how to automate that, trends around how to bring that data together, trends around how to merge and unify that data together is going to only increase, and we are seeing a lot more of that, if not already. I mean, these are not anymore, just on-prem applications. There's cloud and this and that all involved. How do you integrate all of that information in one place to build reports and analytics on top of that? I'm going to use a cliche here. It's called single source of truth, a single version of truth, whatever you may want to call it. But that trend of consideration of having a centralized data hub where information from multiple applications in your business, be it Syspro, CRM, e-commerce, HR, payroll, Excel, all of that coming together so that you can work off one source of information for the business. So, there are no data silos anymore. Everyone's working off that one source to be able to build reports from there. That's what this trend is all about. And we're going to see a lot more in there, if not already. The third one is around scalability. And there's an element of adoption about scalability. No system, no platform, irrespective of whether it's BI data management or any other system, can scale in the business if it is not properly adopted. And I think I'm obsessed with that word, especially this year with a few clients, to make sure that the system is adopted in that business and people are using in that business. But again, technology-wise, it has to scale accordingly. I mean, some of the sessions that we've seen today, there's some big numbers on those sessions. Thousands of users and so on and so forth. So the application, the platform needs to be able to scale to that level, needs to be able to accommodate that level of accommodation. ZAP being a SaaS application, it's cloud first, cloud native, but you can put us on-prem if you wanted to, allows you to do that. But fundamentally, the adoption, the scalability is all about making BI self-serviced, i.e., if you trust that centralized data hub, trust the information coming onto that hub, then if that output from that hub can be a cube, a view, a data set, which you can consume on a BI product like ours or Power BI. Somebody mentioned Click as well. If you can consume that, that is the way it makes BI self-service. So the obsession is more around adoption, but adoption and scalability kind of go hand in hand. So we're going to see a lot more around scalability and, of course, adoption as well. Flexibility. I was not going to use the C word. No, it's not coronavirus, it's cloud. But I think it's amazing we're still talking about cloud as a trend in the market, where it should be obvious people should be using cloud, but actually it is not the case. I think there is still elements of infrastructure related, could be regional, could be location based, which is still limiting the adoption of cloud in the market, but which is why this will and still be a key trend for 2021, where you can connect, consume information in the cloud, irrespective of where you are and what device you're on. We have definitely adopted mobile, so that will continue to happen. So an app, an HTML5 app, which resizes to your screen, any of that, consumption of that is going to be the paramount thing around this, and that gives us flexibility, being able to view your BI report, analytic anywhere, everywhere, as long as you have an internet connection with an app or a browser. Irrespective of what device, you should be able to do that. So cloud will still have a massive role in data management and BI that we're going to see this year. And finally, simplicity. I think people forget that the most important thing, apart from functionality or what the product can do, if it's not simple to use, if it's not easy to use, nobody will use it. And that is essentially an area we ourselves are investing quite heavily in. We've come out with our own new UI version recently, which we're going through beta testing with a set few of customers, and then we'll make it live for general release. But this is something we keep talking about, keep reviewing, keep accessing, because if it is not usable or user-friendly, nobody will use it. So forget about scalability, adoption, stickiness, or any of that stuff for a product or a business. If it's not usable enough, it will never be used. Okay, so those are the 5 trends I wanted to talk about. I'm going to now go into a quick product demonstration. So let me share my screen again. Okay, should be seeing my screen now. Let me go full screen. Okay, so very quickly, and I'm just conscious of time as well. So ZAP, essentially, there are kind of 3 parts to the product. The first is what I'm showing you here, is called a consumer view. So we've worked extensively with Syspro in the background to build this. And what this means is if you are using the core Syspro within these modules, i.e. finance, sales, purchasing, inventory, manufacturing, then a lot of these, or pretty much all of these, with a little bit of effort in mapping, mapping chart of accounts in finance, for instance, can be made live very, very quickly. And we're talking 5 to 10 days here. We don't work in weeks, months of years. We work in hours. So that's how our world works. So as an example, on the finance side, let me show you a quick version of what a CFO dashboard looks like, and anything can be changed, anything can be amended. This is an acceleration we are providing. If this is something you want to use, this will be ready very, very quickly. So essentially, like any BI dashboard, you've got slices at the top. In this case, I've got companies. You can select one or multiple companies. Apologies, I've got dummy data. So I'm going to select all the companies here. You can have dates here as well, and you can put hierarchies against the dates. So in this case, I've got month and day, and I can select what I wanted to. But you can have a different hierarchy if you wanted to. So you could do year, quarter, month, week, day, or year, semester, quarter, month, week, day. I've got ledgers here. It could be customers. You could have financial dimensions if you wanted to. Those could be brought forward here as well. Then we have what we call performance cards. Performance cards fundamentally are in pieces of information that are required for you to take decisions in your business. So quick information coming either from a table on Syspro or a calculation that we've created in the background. And these come with tickets that appear. So this can be a definition, this can be what it means to the business, how it's calculated, and so on and so forth. Just looking at my time. Yeah, I've got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to rush through a little bit. In terms of charts and graphs, as an example, in this case, I've got a P&L on the left, cash in the center, and balance sheet on the right. I can hover my mouse, and it's a tooltip. It gives me the information. I can double click, and it'll give me the hierarchy. So it's month and day. So that's what it's given me. I can right click, and I can move to another dashboard. So in this case, I've connected an income dashboard. So this is a classic P&L version, but here I have month to date and year to date. The interesting part here is I've got actuals coming from Syspro, but budget is coming from an Excel sheet. So I have combined the data to bring it together in this. Further to this, you can drill down to actually the transaction level. So I can double click and go to an information on that transaction. I'm just conscious of time, so I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes and I'm going to pass back to the team at Syspro. So very quickly, number one, why all this works, why all these analytics works out of the box is because of this backend that we've created and we've worked on Syspro. Essentially, we've created a connector that allows us to bring data from every table on Syspro. And within those tables, we have built what in our world is called a data warehouse of pipelines and relationships. So we have transformed roughly 120 odd tables in the various modules. So if I look at just finance, for instance, these are the modules I've transformed from, tables I've transformed from Syspro. Meaning I've worked 3 to 6 months on these to get the data warehouse ready, the cube ready, and off the cube, the report works like a dream. And if you want to bring any more data, Syspro is of course here with your version 7.8. But if you want to bring any more data, we either go through the application layer, and if the application is not available, then we go through the database or we go through the file structure. So I'm going to leave it at that and pass it over to Brandon.
Thank you, Rohit. Rohit, we have a question from AQ Mohammed. Mm-hmm. How easy is it to connect Power BI as the presentation layer?
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad you've mentioned that because that was the last part I wanted to share. So let me just go back to the screen because I have it open. Very easy. So our cube is Power BI compatible. So today we produce SSAS cubes, multidimensional. We are soon to come out with Tabular. This is an example of Power BI reports that we produce. We're not Power BI experts, but we produce content for Power BI. So this is something you can be ready with. What it means is basically if you have investment in Power BI, we are complementary to it with our backend. We're not trying to compete with Power BI. So on the front end, you can use Power BI or My BI tool, but the backend, the data management layer will still be ZAP. Hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Rohit.